you should
Mm.
go for more hikes and things. Talk to the camera.
Mm.
View of the second day of Hushdev 2025. That's a mouthful. As I promised earlier, check on the videos. I just published on LinkedIn a tour of the train that you can ride here at the conference. It's super fun. It's super cute. I really, really liked it. I highly recommend that you come back to this conference and enjoy the train, or at the very least, watch the video. I published one with the whole track and everything. It's pretty. It's awesome. But I'm deviating a little bit here. I have the last interview with one of the thought leaders, superstars, and keynote presenter of the conference, Gitte, our amiga, Gitte or Gitte? How?
Gitte.
Gitte. Okay, I have to be careful to not to Latinize it or.
That's okay.
How are you, Gitte?
I'm good. Now I'm relaxed. I've done with my
Ah,
keynote, so I can relax now.
all the pressure out, and
Yeah.
we were talking earlier that a keynote, even if you're experienced, have been given talks, it always gives you like an extra push that you have to.
Yeah, because I mean the audience is so much bigger than if I'm normally when I'm a track speaker. There's not that many people around, and now suddenly when you're in the big with the big audience, it's nerve wracking.
It's yeah, because on the tracks, when the conference has different tracks, you get like a proportion. Here we have three tracks,
Mm.
so usually you should get more or less like the third of the conference in your. No,
Yeah.
everybody, you are the only thing that will happen, and everybody is kind of paying attention to what you're saying. You gotta keep up the game, and Gide just rocked it. We were standing there, and I heard a few details that I'm gonna ask. Boy, 30 years. I was like, yes, that's awesome. Really, really cool. But I'm stepping ahead. Gide, before we get rolling, would you mind sharing for the audience that do not know you, who are you, what do you do, what have you done,
Mm.
and why are you special?
I don't think I'm special, but I'm Gitte Ottosen. I'm 58 years old, and I've been testing since 1995. So this year is my 30th anniversary in testing. I've had many different roles, from tester to test architect, test manager, quality coach, all different kinds of roles, everything that is not technical. Because my background is military, so I don't come from an IT background. I come from a domain background. Um, so I don't think I'm special. I'm just seasoned.
Okay, okay. And you know, in Spanish, especias, it's seasoned, so you just kept it in the same channel. So, and that's really cool. I wanted to dive right into your keynote, which focused a lot around your experience and
Mm.
those 30 years. Would you mind sharing a little bit more? What was the title? What did you present it?
Yeah, so my title was 30 Years in Testing, Battles Won, Battle Lost. Um, and a spoiler, I didn't really come back with a list of wins and losses because I think it's an ongoing thing that you lose some, you win some, but most of the battles are the same as I had 30 years ago. But I mean, I talked a bit about the development technology in technology wise, in our ways of working, and also, of course, in our profession. And I think my key point is that we need to never stop evolving as individuals and as a profession. Because if we do that, then we will be extinct. And that was actually another point, was that we've been in rumored instinct so many ways, so many times over the 30 years, due to automation, due to agile, due to scaled agile, and now due to AI, that our profession will disappear. But I mean, 30 years have gone, and I'm still here, and
It,
we are still here.
it just mutates. You just have to change your
You
skills,
gotta evolve.
and it's something that I love that you brought that right away. The whole history that I was saying, like, yeah, in the very beginning it was manual testing, and then automations, testers are gonna be out of work.
Yeah.
There were still testers, and as the technologies kept progressing, shift left. Now the
Mm.
developers are gonna do all the automation and all the testing. We're still here.
Yeah.
We're still, and something that surprised me that you mentioned that you were still dealing with very similar situations and tasks and problems than you did 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a consultant, and I've been a consultant since 2012, where I joined Gitte, and later in 2020 we started our own company, Gitte Quality, and I've been a consultant in all that time. But I still, every time, more or less, when I start at a new customer or a new client, I still have to explain why test is important. Not so much to the teams. The teams, they know that test and quality assurance is important, or quality engineering is important. But talking to our stakeholders on higher levels, or and on the business side, we very often still have to come with the same explanation. Why do we need to test? So that's a story I've repeated many, many, many times over the last 30 years.
Oh, yeah, and it's something that making I don't understand why that never has gotten to kind of like mainstream management, because management is in general who you have to convince that to do the
Mm.
investment, that it's not just a cost source in your organization, that it truly is important. It's something that you should take care for until they get burned. Usually,
Yeah, sometimes that helps.
and I'm not wishing bad things to anyone, but come on, people, you just got to go through it, really.
I mean, often what you need to do is you need to prove it in battle. You need to show that when we test, we can actually make a difference. And then when we test early, or when we look at testability already, when we describe our features and user stories, we find bugs. We ensure that we are actually going in the right direction even before the code is made. That our profession and the stuff we can do can actually make a difference also in other areas than testing. I have a passion around test design techniques. I love test techniques.
Okay.
Like,
How's that?
yeah, but I mean, have you thought about it? When we want to test a workflow,
Uh-huh.
for example, a business process, the first thing you'll do is you want to draw it, right?
Yeah.
And the easiest way, you can of course use a standard like BPMN, but you can also just use a data flow diagram with
Yeah.
activities and decisions in there, and having that dialogue with the business, illustrating what is it that we are actually going to support in terms of requirements, what is the business process that we are supporting, getting that understanding into the team, and making the business reflect about,
Huh.
oh, what is it actually we need the system to support, adds a lot of value. So I just model it. But the thing is, when I have that, I have a test design technique called process cycle test that will ensure that I can test this as efficient as possible.
Huh.
When you talk about business rules, I've had examples in projects where they write page after page about a set of business rules. But if I take that input and use a decision table to illustrate it, already by trying to take all that content and put it in a decision table, I will find bugs.
Yeah.
So if I can teach the business analysts and the architects and the business that we can actually use the decision tables to illustrate the business rule, then it'll be much easier to understand. And yes, we have a lot of columns that are all test cases afterwards. But it's also a modeling tool. So the test design techniques can make the requirements so much clearer. And you can test based on that. You don't necessarily have to script test cases. You can
Mhm.
test exploratory just based on that flow diagram. So I love test techniques, all of them.
It's interesting. The way that you're talking about makes me think. Have you heard of Richard Feynman, um, uh, physicist, mathematics that was involved in the Manhattan Project? And this guy had a saying like, to truly understand something and filter the problems, you have to teach them,
Mm.
to work them around in a way where you will understand where are your gaps, where are your processes.
Yeah.
And sounds a lot of what you are describing, like by adapting what you had as a departure point, or the requirements or the processes or anything that some teams just like, yeah, let's create processes, writing
Yeah.
mindlessly, just start to dump them. Okay, let's put them in another more useful,
Mm.
depending on the context, more useful platform, visualization, drawing, whichever you're going to do. I was amazed because when you said it, like, yeah, you're going to find bugs and problems,
Mm.
not software bugs, but in the process, in the writing, in the creation.
Yeah. You'll find the defects in the spec. You'll find all the bugs in the requirements in the design specification when you start illustrating or visualizing that with models. I mean that, and I feel so sad when I see statistics that our test profession, that the professional or the knowledge about all these things is declining, because both in this context, in the context of shifting left and understanding the requirements, visualizing the requirements, but also if we want to adapt towards all that's coming in terms of AI, and we will be the, as some reports say, will be the shepherds or whatever, reviewers of the output of the AI when we use AI to support our test, then we better understand those techniques.
Yeah.
Because if you ask this to do equivalence partitioning and boundary value analysis and do data combination tests, but you haven't got a clue about what that is, how can you validate that what comes out is actually the right stuff? So if we don't keep being strong in our profession and understanding these basic things like test techniques, for example, using them actively as a modeling tool, I think the our value will degrade.
It's and it's very interesting when you started to talk about it. I thought of AI right away. You brought it where I feel I didn't know that the QA professionals with experience was kind of in decline. It's scandalizing a little bit, and at the same time, now with AI, that know-how, that expertise, I feel it's starting to be kind of like put aside or
Mm,
underappreciated. And because many of these things, oh yeah, the AI will deal with it. But wait, where is the AI learning from
mm,
on how to do this and how? Oh, from this blog post, from this. But that was generated by AI as well.
yeah.
And now it starts to be like we have bad information in, and we're going to have bad outcomes. And you're making a really good point that we should have more people with this type of expertise. And
Yeah, if we, I mean, I'm not in any way, just disclaimer, I'm not in any way against AI. I use AI in my daily work, but
it's super
I
useful.
yeah, I use it as a colleague, as a sparring partner, and it helps me structure things. But I can do that because I understand that what I put in, what sort of do I expect. I don't just take it for granted whatever comes out.
Hmm.
And that is one of my biggest concerns about the AI when we move forward, is that people stop thinking, that people simply stop being critical, using the critical thinking, and just put thing in and believe whatever comes out.
Yeah.
That is my concern. We gotta be, we gotta be clever around this, because it is coming and it is useful. It is tremendously useful, used the right way.
Yeah. And it's something that if we don't have the criteria to filter that, and it's weird because people starting nowadays, how are they going to build that expertise, experience, criteria to filter where the AI is spitting nonsense?
Hmm.
They will just go through with the nonsense and think that that's the gospel.
Yeah.
I see the risk. I do agree with you. AI, it's really helpful in the right hands with the right experience. Not that and someone without experience should not touch it. Please, please, it's helpful.
Oh
It's
yeah.
teaching good things. Just beware, check the sources. But I feel you like nothing like the experience and knowledge that you have acquired and someone experienced. The AI is not experienced. It's as experienced as the content that has been created and it's around. But someone with the 30 years like you is gonna be able like, yeah, the blog post that the AI used to train on this thing was not the best or was generated. This is gonna
Hmm.
happen more. Created by AI and the AI is training the AI. Was the original part the best? Who knows?
I mean, you don't need 30 years to, luckily, to,
Just with
to
a few is good.
few years is okay.
Don't be afraid. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
Because I mean, any skilled tester can do that.
Yeah,
It's mostly a question about being a little bit critical, and then always remember that. I mean, we talk very much about the human in the loop. We need the human in the loop. I actually, in the new TMAP book for that is amplifying TMAP with Gen AI, they actually have exchanged the word human with expert,
yeah.
and I think that's a really important point. We shouldn't just keep a random human in the loop. We should we should choose someone knowable, someone who knows about the profession, the craft, what you're asking it about. Because if we don't do that, we won't catch those bugs.
Without that expertise, just nice will be like, yeah, sounds like AI is smart. It looks good to me.
Yeah,
But how do you tell? How can you tell? I love that definition, expert in the loop.
yeah.
Because nowadays that we are hearing about the layoffs and organizations, like,
Mm.
yeah, I don't need the experts. Just like,
AI will do it for me. Oh,
are you
sorry, I'm actually not
sure?
supposed to laugh. I'm almost should actually be crying because that is my scare is that um, my concern is that we don't remember the expert in the loop.
Yeah.
That we without thinking uses it.
And a big problem is or risk is that we may lose that expert
Yeah.
because if the expert is kind of like ramped down, as you were saying, that we are starting to lose that expertise, and there's only AI, no one is becoming the expert.
Hmm.
We're gonna hit problems,
I
and
mean, we are getting, we, or at least I am getting older. I will
yeah, me
retire
too, me too.
someday, and then there needs to be the
Who's gonna
next
take up?
generation of people who loves this profession and who understands what testing is about should be ready to take over. But if we don't give them the room in the companies, that there's actually room for young people to be junior and to learn from the,
Mistakes and
yeah.
from older people, for experienced people.
I
It's
like I
I
like
had to
that
kind of.
shift from older people, oh, experienced people. It's
I
okay.
feel
I can
myself old
take
as
it.
well. If it's if it fixes anything, I'll keep sticking the food in my mouth. But
Oh no.
uh, no, but I mean, many times, some of the interviews that I did today, the person was telling me a difference was to have some expert, someone to guide me, someone to tell me like, "Ooh, you shouldn't be doing that."
Mm.
I myself went through that. Like, I started in performance almost on my own. I started like tapping here. Oh, that failed. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. And then I met someone that started to guide me, like say, like, "Hey, how about you do this? How about?" Oh boy, I have wasted years.
Yeah.
And it's really important that that senior, um, the tester supreme, or
Mm.
I tend to go with marble names and things like that, but that you have that role in your growth path and the opportunity. Because when you were saying juniors, and when we're juniors, we mess up, but we're learning, we're growing,
Yeah.
and we have those mistakes. And we have someone to help us, knowledgeable, because AI might not help us if
No.
we mess up big and oops, what did I do? And AI might be like, yes, you did this. No, that's not right. Oh, sorry, you did this. No, you're still wrong,
Yeah.
right? And the AI will be like just throwing at something.
I think what I've learned the most of was, I mean, when I started, I was the only one with the tester role, more or less in the company. But when we started the first bigger project in the company, and we had a test manager suddenly, and we established a test team. And suddenly we were a community of test practitioners. Plus, we had a test manager who was amazing. And to this day, he is actually my mentor. So every time I make a new abstract for a conference, I never make an abstract for a conference without sending it to him. Now, almost 30 years older. Yeah, we are, but 30 years later, because I respect his knowledge and his insight. And I mean, you don't need to be junior just to need a mentor. Every time you change your role, it's a good idea. When I had my first assignment as a role as a test manager, I definitely needed a mentor because I
Yeah.
was new in my role. Yes, I had many years as a tester, but I had zero as a test manager. And when I moved to being a consultant, I'd never been a consultant before. Yes, I was a seasoned test manager, had no clue about consulting. I needed a mentor. So every time you change your role, it's good to have someone with experience to lean on and to get help from and to discuss stuff with.
Really, really important. And on one hand, I smile because it's really cool that this mentor, you have had access to this person,
Mm.
all this trajectory that you have had.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
sometimes,
I just dump him in an email, even though we are not in the same company anymore.
but
We
that's
still
cool. You
we
you
can
still
still
have
talk.
reached to this person, the support, and this person probably kept growing and have other
Oh yes,
higher.
yeah. He's not in testing anymore.
Huh.
He's in product management
You get
and
some other
has
experiences from that.
yeah.
I'm sure that it's and always having a different perspective and over all that trajectory, it amazes me, and that makes me think as well over this trajectory that you have had. I'm curious of what experiences do you think you have learned the most, or were biggest challenges that you remember like fondly, like, ooh, we had this situation I went through.
I think I have a couple. I have we had once in a company a planned UAT, user acceptance test, and we had a test readiness review. So we were agreeing that our test cases covered all requirements, and all was thumbs up. We were ready to go. But as we started the UAT, after a very few minutes, the end user said we can't use this, and they actually left. So we had to stop the UAT, and we had to go home. But what we learned was that the requirements had been made without to enough extent involving real end users. So that was like a mind blowing thing. And others have been that in very many companies I experienced that I am the only one with a role containing anything with test in it. And that is a big challenge in its own because as I also said in the presentation, you suddenly have to take a role that goes from being a program test manager to being a test analyst, depending on what time of day.
Yeah.
And that's a very large,
Very far
yeah,
set of
very far
skills and
between because one moment you are handling stakeholders and metrics and reporting and all that stuff, and the next moment you are sitting with end users drawing diagrams for process cycle testing or discussing test cases with someone. And I think that has been my biggest challenge.
I never thought of that big rate of context switching, even inside of QA, because sometimes we QA kind of in the beginning we say like, yeah, I'm an automator that I do QA and that's it. But there are so many tasks that are so different. We have been talking about managing,
Mm,
talking to management, being at the liaison, drawing diagrams,
yeah.
planning. All those tasks are very different, and it's way easier when you have other people helping you and collaborating and getting everything
Yeah, I
together.
mean, the range is a bit like being a program manager and a developer at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same range, but for some odd reason, you would never suggest that the program manager should be doing development as well, right? But in some contexts, you see that test managers and program test managers have to be testers as well. And it is a big range. It is a lot of context shifting.
It's like trying to be a chef, a cook, the server, and the delivery boy,
Yeah.
or going from chef to delivery boy, like really, really far.
Yeah.
You're still in the food business, but it's really, really far. And I'm amazed, and makes me. It's an ironic laugh. I shouldn't be laughing about that
You can laugh.
because it's something that happens,
Oh
and
yeah,
we
I'm not
keep having,
definitely not the only one.
and you won't be the last one.
No, 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 no.
Uh, and it's a situation that I think that everybody that is thinking on getting into QA or is already in QA, you should be aware that it'll be there, and probably will always be there. We always will be dealing with those
Yeah,
situations.
but then again, see this an opportunity could also be a
It,
solution, right? Because I love the fact that I am actually able to sit down and discuss test design, but I'm also able to do it to create a test strategy or a test policy or do a TPI assessment. I find that I love the fact that my toolbox of skills is so diverse.
and we'll keep growing.
Yeah, until I retire, it won't stop. I'm diving into now. I mean, now AI is here to come. Of course, I need to understand how I can
New
use that
challenges.
and how that can add value in our work and how we can utilize what it can do, and it can do a lot.
So, and I have a feeling that even after you retire, you won't stop like tinkering and checking things and learning and growing.
No,
Probably
because
not only on
when you
QA.
stop learning and growing, you get old.
Yeah. No, no, no. And young at heart, always
Yeah,
curious. It's really, really important. I mean, I know young people that are not curious, that don't keep growing, and you already can tell that they're like, meh, yeah, whatever. And you really, in my opinion, a big flavor of life is to keep growing, finding new things, solving challenges, learning new challenges, how to fix them, how to approach them. And now to wrap up a little bit this set of good vibes, good feeling recommendations to the audience that is tuning in, from all your experience, what would you tell them, like Gitte's recommendation from all this path that I have
yeah.
had? Kids, do that.
Just get started.
Get
Keep
rolling.
learning. Take every challenge you can. Get in there because I mean, it's an amazing profession. No matter what role you have in it, as long as working with testing, we are making so big a difference and can help end users getting more value out of the solution that they ask for. So just get in there, but be true to the fact that this is a profession like anything else. You need to learn, you need to develop yourself. It is not just a question about sitting in front of the computer and hit the keyboard. You need to understand critical thinking, you need to be curious, but you also need to be structured.
Yeah, that as
And
well.
then you need to have fun.
Most important, have fun. If you don't enjoy it, there's something that might be, you may be needing to try another area of QA or even another totally different section of IT, or get in psychology or something like that. Have fun. If it's not
Yeah.
fun, you won't get far. It will be hurtful.
No,
Hurtful.
I said it as I also mentioned in the conference in the presentation. When I entered the door in systematic 30 years ago, I said the day I don't learn, when the day I go home and haven't learned anything new, I will resign.
Cool.
But it took me 17 years to get to there, and I actually think I could have learned even more. But I just found that now it was time to see whether my competences and skills also worked outside the walls of that company. So I mean, keep learning.
I
That's
love it.
that's the way to grow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep learning, keep moving forward. All the sources, hearing conferences on keynotes,
Yeah, but not
presenters.
only keyboards, keynotes, but even more so all the people that are here. There's so many people here with so many different experiences and backgrounds.
Not necessarily the presenters. Yeah, you're
No,
right.
everybody here. There's 700 plus people here. They all have something valuable to share. So get started with the dialogue with others. Do networking. Start communities. Make meetups. Learn from each other. It's a really good value.
Oh my God, I love all those push and people. You gotta do all those and more. It's awesome. It's so enjoyable, and that's one that I tend to skip. Like you will meet some peers here, people that are having similar problems, challenges, and they have different approaches. Probably
Yeah.
you will learn more, grow more, and get more ideas. But with that, Gitte, if anyone wants to reach out to you, find out more what you're doing, any new challenges or
Mm.
adventures that you're having, where they can get in touch with you.
You can always find me on LinkedIn as a start. So I'm right there. Maybe you can put a link
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
my
We'll
profile, but at least Gitte Ottosen, you can find me. I think we are only two in there with that name. So
hey,
just find the one who does testing. The other one doesn't.
check the name here on screen. Look it for in LinkedIn and get in touch. Lots of experience, guidance, this type of guidance and expertise that you need. Don't just trust that AI will solve my life and now. No, real people, experienced people that are rocking it and keep growing.
Remember
I'm
the
happy.
human in the loop.
Yes, the expert human in
A
the loop.
expert human in the loop.
Awesome. Gide, thank you very much. It has been a pleasure.
You're welcome.
I really, really appreciate it. And I'm very thankful that you're sharing your all your experience with the audience
Thank you for letting me.
in the talks, in keynotes, and here at the couch. So, everybody, there you have it. I got you a keynote speaker here rocking it at the conference, showing off 30 years of awesomeness. And well, for now, I was planning, I hinted it earlier that we were going to have another interview. We ran out of time, but at the very least, I promised,
Dear
and
participants, we
yes,
want to
we're about
avoid
to be
sad moments.
done with
This
the
is the
conference
last time
today.
I ask you to come
Check the train
inside
ride, it was
for
super
this
fun.
our Step
Check the rest of
2025.
the
This is the
interviews.
last
With that, we're going to wrap up the
graduation
interviews here at
event.
HostEF
So we kindly ask you
2025.
to come inside, take your
We're
seat because we are
gonna
starting soon. With
be
our
hitting
conference coming to
Automation
the
Star.
start
Stay
already,
tuned.
we are
Some
starting
news are gonna
strong.
come.
Thank you.
But for now, HostEF 2025, pronounced in the right way. I just learned how to say it. Uh, it's about to wrap up. The closing keynote is going to happen in a moment. We're gonna stop the streams. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning, and thank you very much, Gide, for coming here.
You're welcome.
It has been a pleasure. So, adios, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you on the next conference. Bye bye. Adios. How do you say bye in
Farewell.
Pavel?